Hi everyone. I hope you've been having a great day so far. I wanted to come and make a video about back pain. Today I actually was experiencing just a little bit of discomfort, and so I said, I might as well come and make a video about this because a lot of people definitely suffer with back pain. I typically don't suffer with back pain, but like I said, today I had a little bit of it going on, and so I've actually been working on myself, and I've worked a great majority of it out. So I said I would just come and share. So I always talk about being hydrated, especially before you start working on yourself. And so I'm going to get a few sips of water. I have had some water, today, and as I've been working on myself. But anytime I'm going to do something more extensive, I want to make sure that I do have some hydration even on the onset. So I'm going to invite those who are going to work along with me to definitely have you some water present. And when you are living kind of a hydrated life, you don't really have to overdo it when it comes to actually working on yourself because the body is actually already prepared. But I typically like to have some water near anyway because it is good just to have those sips just before. And sometimes you may have to sip, during as you're working on yourself. But certainly after, you definitely need to make sure that you're hydrated. So before I start actually lotioning up, I am going to get a few sips of water. Again, I invite you to join me. And you can feel free definitely to work along with me. I'll try to move at a pace where you can, where you can do that. But I know some of you like to watch it first and just take in the experience and then go back and work on yourself, and that's fine. So I'm going to start with lotioning my feet and hands because we're actually going to work both areas. So if you have some lotion or some oil, near, just go ahead. We'll take this time just to get moisturized. Just preparing ourselves for this experience. I'm just going to do just some initial moisturizing. Typically I have to come back do more, especially this time of year when it's cold. And you all probably hear my heater going. So, sometimes you tend to dry out a little bit more. In the winter months, be a little bit more dry. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit extra on my hands here. So we're actually going to start, working on the hands, but I also like to incorporate deep breathing. Most of you know that's one of my more extensive works, that I do. I'm very big on breath work. Breath work is really important as it relates to back pain. And so sometimes when you're actually experiencing back pain, you can just kind of breathe into the spots of pain and you would be amazed how much relief you can get. So we'll actually start with doing a little bit of breath work, and then I'm going to just do some demonstrations, on both hands, because we're actually, when we're working on the back area, we want to work, both feet and both hands, for sure. So let's start off with doing some breath work. So I'm going to invite you to just take 3 nice deep breaths with me, and then we're going to take intentional breaths as it relates to isolated areas of pain in the back. So let's take 3 deep breaths, please. Okay. And now we're going to be intentional with our breath as it relates to where there's pain in the back or any type of discomfort. Could be the onset. So I want you to just focus in just for a moment on where you're feeling discomfort in your back. And so I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and Just be present with that discomfort for a moment. And then take a nice deep belly breath from the diaphragm. And release it. And then I'm going to invite you to take another deep breath, and I want you to hold it and focus on breathing into that pain, okay? To that discomfort. So let's do that now. And hold it for about 10 seconds. And exhale. Now, some of you may feel that pain intensify when you're doing this deep level of breathing. And actually, that's okay. Because what it's doing is that it's expanding the area to stretch where it could be really constricted because of the pain. So when you're breathing into that, it's creating more space. And you want to create that space so that there's more movement of the energy that can take place, especially before you actually start working, on different areas. So it's okay to, rub your back and to try to relieve pain that way. But one of the things I know is that when you're doing some type of acupressure or reflexology or the self-massage on the different areas, it actually tends to bring more relief to those areas than if you're actually trying to work directly on there. So for some of you that maybe are having pain, let's say in your upper back, right? So let's say it's under your lung area. And so I'm going to invite you to put your hand on that area and lift your arm. And then we're going to take 3 deep breaths into that specific area. So let's take a deep breath. And release. So let's take another deep breath. And release. And now on this third breath, we're going to take a deep breath and we're going to hold for about 7 seconds. And I want you to actually reach up as you are taking that breath. So let's do that now. And release. Okay. And we can do that with the other side too. So just put your hand underneath your rib cage or right on top of the back rib cage and lift your arm. And we're going to take those 3 deep breaths and we're going to hold 7 seconds at the last one. So let's take the first one. Take a deep breath, please. And release. Okay. Take another deep breath, please. And release. All right, now again on this last deep breath, we're going to take a deep breath and we're going to reach up and we're going to hold that breath for about 7 seconds. So let's take a deep breath, please. Reach up. And release. Okay. So if you're having mid to lower pain in your back, we're going to do the same thing, right? And you don't actually have to put your hands there. We're just going to be intentional about breathing into those areas. So I want you to focus in on the mid back and the lower back, just wherever the discomfort is at this time. And we're going to take a nice deep belly breath. So let's do that now. And exhale. Okay, again, just take a deep breath, please. And exhale. All right, on this last breath, I'm going to breathe real deep, and then we're going to hold this breath for maybe about 5 seconds. So so let's take a deep breath, please, and isolate that area. Exhale. Okay. So now we're actually going to start working on some different areas. So anytime you're having back pain, it's good to work the lower legs, to do some self-massage, with those. In a lot of the videos, you hear me talk a lot about ankles and working the spine. And anytime you're actually dealing with your back, for sure, or your hips, you definitely want to be working the spine area. And so as we are preparing today, what we're actually going to start with is working on the hands. But we're going to work the spine on the hands first, and then I'm going to show you some different points that you can focus on to relieve the back pain. So what we're going to do, and most of you have seen this in demonstration, is to do kind of a worm walk or caterpillar walk up the spine. So the spine reflex starts right here and goes all the way up, to the tip of the thumb. It's all on the side here. And so we're going to spend more time working there. I know a lot of times when I'm doing the worm walk or so, I like to focus also on the brain as well, but we're actually just going to work the spine. So I'm going to demonstrate it first because some are new to this, and then we'll come back, and those of you who want to do this with me will work on this together. So let me just demonstrate first. Just doing. Okay, and go back down. And you put on it the amount of pressure that you feel guided. All right, so now we can do this together for those who want to work along with me. All right, so let's go ahead and start here. This time we just make a few little circles going up. All right, and then we're going to come back down. Okay, and you can go up as many times as you feel guided, but because I'm just really doing this in demonstration today, I'm just going up that once. So if you're having upper back pain, here are the points that you want to press in on, right in here. Take a deep breath. So you can do some circular motions if you choose. Start working there. Keep doing some deep breathing. Okay. So also want to do some lower back pain. See if you can see this here. You can press in here, start working, but also right in here, as well. It's almost like the base of the thumb. Right? Right. Anytime you're actually having pain in the body or even feel nauseated, right in here is a good place to press and to hold for, at least 5 to 10 seconds. 3 at a minimum. But this definitely takes pain out of the body almost instantly. It's interesting how this happens because it's like you press here and it may feel a little painful as you're doing there, but it kind of then sends a signal out to take that pain from the other areas and isolate it there. But it's like it doesn't really, the pain doesn't stay there long for whatever reason. It's just interesting how things are connected. But if you have sinus pressure or so, just different levels of pain in the body, just spend some time here. It's going to be different, for everyone. And obviously people who actually work on themselves regularly are going to get more of those spontaneous benefits than someone who actually is just starting out. But you can start to feel some relief. So I always like to do just a general rub of the hands anyway when working on, the reflexology from the hand perspective. So we're just going to do a little bit of just massaging here. It's just covering so many different organs. And a lot of times whenever we are having back pain or so, it could be that there are other organs that may not necessarily be in distress, but it could be the onset, of something. So it's just good to do just kind of a general rub here. But again, if you want to work on that upper back pain or like the shoulders, so to speak, so just, work in that area. It should take care of that, the shoulder, upper to mid back, right in here. And so we're going to come over to, this is my right hand, and start working here because you want to do both hands as it relates to what's going on with your back. So just as we did the worm walk or the caterpillar walk up this hand here, we're going to do the same here. So I'm going to demonstrate just again, and then we'll come back and do it together. Go down here. So I'm just lightly touching as I'm just doing the demonstration. Now I'm going to come back and we can work on this together. And I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on mine. As most of you all know, I talk about how I work on my nervous system, quite often being an empath, and sometimes having to put a little bit more pressure than the average person on those areas. Okay. I actually feel guided to go back up again. Go back up and down. So I'm going to do that. Okay. So I'm going to come the same as on the others and just position myself right in here to start doing just some circular motions here. It's working the shoulders and the upper to mid back. Hope you can see this. Now I'm going to press and just take a few deep breaths. Okay. And feel free to spend, as long as you need to in these areas. I'm going to come here and start doing kind of some lower back relief. So just get under the base of that thumb, kind of. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to rub the hands. Okay. Right. Now before actually I start working on the feet, I'm feeling guided to just do some lower leg massaging. So you can just be in your calves here and work your way down. Do some presses, And just do some presses, up and down. And you do as many times as you feel guided. So now I'm just going to kind of do some, not necessarily kneading in a sense, but it's still the pressing, but it's kind of rotating and working with the hands. And I'm actually doing some deep breathing as I am, doing this too. It's just always best to keep that breath going and breathing deeply into those places of pain. And as I mentioned, that sometimes when you're doing that, it may actually feel a little painful even as that's happening, but it is expanding the space, and you need that to happen. And the reason why that's so good is because, believe it or not, sometimes the pain that we're experiencing in the back area can sometimes be trapped air, you know. So whether trapped gas or just trapped air, you know, in general. So when you're doing that breathing into those spaces again, it's expanding, you know, kind of that space there, so that more flow can come in terms of better circulation or just however. So, just doing this here. And I'm going to come and do this also with this leg too. Just do those presses. And again, you apply as much pressure as you feel guided, you know, to do. Okay, I may come back to and do that because I'm feeling like I need to work on the knees as well. So I'm going to start working on the feet here. I'm going to come and do my right foot first. Let's put a little bit more lotion in there. And so just as we worked the spine with the hands, we're going to do that here. Let me reposition myself and I can see a little bit better. But what I'm going to do actually is just really work with just one, warm walk with one. I want to grab the foot here. And normally when I do the spinal walk, I'm walking like this. We're just going to do just one. So let me just kind of hold my foot here. Go up the side. See if you can see that. Go back down. I'm going to come and do this again. Also, depending on where the pain is in your back, you want to kind of gauge your spine as being your back, as it is in a sense. But wherever the pain is where you want to do most of the worm walking or spend more time there. But I'm just going to go up. Here. I kind of went fast there, but I apologize for those of you trying to work along with me. But do feel free to freestyle too. Just go according to the guidance. Okay, so earlier I was having kind of upper back pain right under kind of the lung area, the back lung, or rib cage I should say. And I still have a little bit of that going on now, and it's actually been relieving even more since doing this demonstration. So I'm going to work right here in this area. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time there. And again, wherever the pain is for you, like if it's lower back pain, then you want to work, you know, more in this area, or find an area that you feel, okay, this would be where that area is on my back, and start working more in that area. But like I said, for me, I'm going to spend more time right in here. And do some deep breathing here. And as I'm breathing deeply, I am feeling that expansion in that area of my back. And I can feel just a little bit of twinging, you know, so to speak. but it feels tremendous on the release because it's expanded. And so now when I breathe deeply, I don't feel it as much, anymore. And then, like I said, I'm, just working in this area a little bit too. Okay. All right. So done that. All right. Also, I'm going to recommend that you work the front, kind of this area here. Don't really know what you call that. I always call these the valleys. It's normally tender in here, like I'm not experiencing any tenderness today, like when I go down in these areas. But we're actually just going to work just this area. So you can do some rubbing here. And continue to breathe deeply. And again, as you're doing deep breathing, if you can just focus in on that area where the discomfort is and just continue to breathe into that as you are, working on these areas. I like to breathe in sets of 3s, 5s, and 7s, and the guidance may lead me to do something else, but typically those intervals, if you will, typically work well. All right. So another area you want to work for lower, well, any of the back pain, but I'm focusing more on the lower area right now. And since I said that, that means that's pretty much what a lot of people are experiencing most of their back pain in. So just want to work in this area. From here on down is really where you're working your intestines and just the bowel area, the colon. The bladder is on this side here, but right in here you have reproductive organs and everything, but it's good to work the lower back too in this area. So let's give a good rub here. So also we're going to work the side here. This is considered zone 5 in reflexology, and also the shoulder, reflexes from here down to the side here. It just depends on the charts. Different charts show it differently. And because of a lot of juicy stuff gets stuck in this area here, you want to work it. And as I mentioned too, sometimes that you have air in your back, right? And that's causing pain. And when you can work these areas, it's helping to relieve it. So we're going to do some more deep breathing here. So let's do a set of 3 intervals in deep breathing. So let's start now. Okay. So yeah, so just work. Let's work in this area here. And again, for some, you'll feel some instant relief, and then for some, you may have to actually rinse and repeat this process a few times. Just work on yourself over some days. Okay. So because we have been doing some deep breathing, it's going to work a little bit in the diaphragm and lung area as well. Also rubbing across the solar plexus right here. I'm going to Press into that and breathe deeply. Okay. Right. So let's come back down here. Let's work this area a little bit more, okay? Let's make some thumb, I don't even know what to call this, thumb swipes maybe? um, thumb. Okay. And there are other techniques to do, you know, for the back, for sure, but I just want to demonstrate just a few of those. So we're going to come here, let me moisturize myself just a little bit more. Okay. All right, so we're going to do the same over here. And the area where you feel the most discomfort, or where you were feeling the most discomfort, in case that has shifted for you, just work on that area a little bit longer. So I'm going to still do the demonstration, and then we can work on this together. So I'm just using one hand to go up the spine here. All right, so now we're going to do the worm walk, and then you're going to isolate a particular area. It's like for me, I'm going to still stay in here. You can keep going up if you want to and keep going back down, but I'm just going to go right in here just for myself. Some deep breathing. And I'm actually going to come back and work on the ankles on both. I normally actually like to start with those, doing the spine or the hip flexors or so, but that was not what the guidance was, so just going to follow that. But just do know that it is an option to start there. Okay, so I'm going to come down here. Got a little bit of, it's not really tenderness, but I can feel a little something right here, which is the same side of where my back discomfort was, so it's not surprising. So I'm just working it out here, just relieving some stress off the body. And already that feels amazing. The little pip that I had that was feeling a little, like I had a little something there, like I can still feel a little something right here. But as I'm working on this, oh, yeah, it feels great. Right. So look in that area. So we'll come over here and start. And again, you all do this as you feel guided. All right. Come and work in the lungs here. Keep doing some deep breathing. Let me turn, I feel I need to dot this here, so. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, the side that I've had the discomfort on, I could definitely feel just in different areas where, yeah, it's been some stress. So got a little tenderness going on right in here. So I'm actually going to work here in the thymus gland area here. This is also working the respiratory system, your esophagus too, which is part of the digestive system, but it's also connected. That's why sometimes I don't like to get as technical with this, because sometimes the focus just needs to be on the, just on what you can do to relieve what's going on here. So let me work the diaphragm area here. I'm going to press in here. Take a deep breath. Okay, let's come back down over here. Yep, in that area I was mentioning that I was feeling something, yep, it's completely gone now. Okay. All right, so come work the ankles. It's always good to, get up under there. I'm going to do just a little bit of the hip flexor, just a little bit of it. It just always helps to loosen up everything. It loosens up the hips, but so much more than that. Right. I'm going to position myself here, because even right in here, if you work right in this area here, it will definitely, help to provide some relief. And just keep breathing deeply. And some of you, if you're feeling guided to actually pause and do a little bit of back rubbing, for yourself, leaning over or so, and rubbing on those areas. Like I'm actually pressing in a little bit on the area where I was having the discomfort, and right up on my spine, in a sense, just a little bit over, doing some deep breathing, because I felt a little bit of twinging there, and just by me doing this, that has improved tremendously. Okay, so I'm going to just work on the ankles here as well. Let me do a little bit of and again, you all feel free to work on this as long as you need to, or as little. Then we're going to come and rub right in here. Now also too, sometimes depending on where your back pain or discomfort is, it's good to work the kidneys and adrenal area as well. So I'm going to work those on both feet. So right up under here is the adrenal gland. Come down just a little bit over to the middle, and we are working the kidney reflex here. I like to do just some hooks here with that. Okay. You just need to do a few, but I mainly recommend working more in the adrenal the adrenal area. And you just work kind of all of that area there. Okay. So I'm going to do it over here. Reposition myself here. Alright. You see that right up under here with the adrenal area. You come down over to the middle, start making some hooks. Those healthy kidneys. Yeah. Okay. All right. So those of you who are experiencing whether the upper back pain, mid or lower, just find that area and bend over a little bit just like I am. Put your hands on that area. Just apply a little bit of pressure and let's take a deep breath into that part of the back, okay? Here we go. And exhale. Again. And exhale. And now we're going to take a deep breath and we are going to hold that breath for about 7 seconds. So take a deep breath. And exhale. Okay, so how does that feel? You can let me know, in the comments. I'm going to do a little more ankle rubbing here. And for those of you, if you still have some pain or feel like, wait a minute, my pain was going away and now that I've done that bending over, I feel like a little bit has come back. Just, raise your arms above your head and just do kind of a little side to side stretch and breathe into it. It's always good if you can stretch up. Okay. So I'm actually going to come and do a little bit of wrist rubbing because this too is definitely helping with any of the discomfort that goes on, in the back as well. One of the things I really enjoy about being able to bring the stimulation of energy here is because your wrists and your ankles, they are support systems in a sense. So I'm actually guided to now actually do the knees, which I had actually mentioned that I was probably going to do that. But yeah. Something else I'm going to invite you to do is underneath your knees, which I don't recommend doing a lot of rubbing under there, but if you press in there and take a deep breath, another support system here. Okay, let's do some rubbing here. If you can move around a little, just try to make a few motions. Work that back a little bit, all right? As you move your knees or massage your knees, not too much, just if you can just motion just some. Some of you may still have some discomfort going on, so just do it accordingly. But I would say kind of stretch yourself a little bit, and just breathe deeply. Okay. All right. All right. So that should help with your back pain in the different areas. and I can do more videos, of this nature for sure, but wanted to be able to just provide this experience, and of course take the time out for those of you who wanted to work along with me in terms of bringing some relief, and for those of you who have just been listening, kind of taking it all in. I hope that this maybe can even be beneficial to maybe someone else that you know that's experiencing back pain, or at least you'll know what to do if you should start experiencing some, and actually how to get out ahead of it actually being bigger than what it has to be. So of course I'm going to recommend that drink water, after this, and then just be, present with your body. And if there's something else that you need to do, then check in with your body and get that accurate wisdom and information. So, as always, I love to feature my publication. I touch myself and I like it. And there'll be information below in the description, and also this is available on Amazon. So I hope that this was beneficial for you, and of course I look forward to bringing you more videos of this nature soon. Have a great day.